Wherefore, Part 4. Tasha wakes up somewhat cold, and although her mind is still hazy, she is not entirely confused. There is no duvet, but her back is warm. This time her body knows where it is, and there is little surprise as she opens her eyes to see the field. The grass is longer than it was last month, while the dawn is later because of the clocks changing. As she is once again naked in a field, she will have to accept that this is something that happens to her and cannot be ignored out of her existence. Pushing herself up into a sitting position, she discovers the reason her back has stayed warm. There is a man. She does not recognize him. He too is naked in the grass. She studies his face, and then the rest of him, waiting to see if any feelings emerge. What is he to her? Why are they naked together? She is fairly sure they have not had sex with each other. She does not feel the languid contentment of a morning after. So what is this? It feels as though her life is going on somewhere else without her. This is disconcerting. She has had her share of drunken debauchery, but even so has never before woken up next to someone she cannot name and does not recognise. What did the missing bit of herself get up to yesterday? Who is this other person living inside her skin and acting without her knowledge? These thoughts arise quickly and are the work of moments. The man stirs. One hand reaches around, most likely for the bedding that should be there. She watches him shift, surfacing, confusion mounting in his expression. She guesses this is his first time being unexpectedly naked on a hillside and remembers her own experiences of a month ago. Now there are two of them, it seems more real somehow. It is only as he pushes himself up from the ground that he sees her, and a blush hits his face with the violence of a blow. Tasha gets a second or two in which to feel awkward about her own unclad state before he raises his head a little further and makes eye contact. Lifetimes pass in which she does not draw breath. Such eyes, large and dark. She has never seen an adult male with eyes like these before. Men do not usually strike her as beautiful. She likes what she can do with them, but that's different. These eyes she could get lost in. These eyes make her forget to breathe, and she could stay here until she dies of it and not mind at all. For the first time in her life, she feels seen and understood. More than that, she feels as though it is the best of her that is seen, the potential that had lain dormant until this penetrating gaze pierced into the heart of her and found the person she should have always been. Her naked skin seems a small consideration now. She is stripped bare at soul level. Well, this is awkward, he says, and the spell is broken. They are two people in a weird situation, and there are rabbits staring at them from the edge of the field. What, who? Did? He false starts repeatedly until she takes pity on him. I'm Tasha. I don't know how we got here, but a similar thing happened to me last month, only that time it was just me. How odd, he says, folding his limbs into a more modest configuration and looking around for his clothes. As before, there are no discarded clothes in the field. I'm sorry, I'm at a bit of a loss. He trails off again, then looks her directly in the face. There it is afresh, the breathless, giddy impact of his gaze. The sense of herself as a totally different person when he looks at her. Gut feelings that are too big for her gut to hold, that demand she be bigger just to accommodate them. Who are you? He asks. There is wonder in his voice. I'm not sure I know any more. What do we do now? He inquires. She looks around, laughs awkwardly. Try not to get arrested? I went home in a pom bear box last time. He stands, looks around. Oh, mine's fairly close. We can use the lane, that is, if you want to. I could lend you some clothes. Might be better than the box and the road. She weighs this up. He does not seem threatening. If he wanted to hurt her, he could easily have done so by now. There is something between them that needs figuring out. Helpfully, it is Saturday, and there is nowhere she has to be. She will risk it. The lane is cut into the side of the hill and sheltered by trees. The few houses along it are thankfully quiet, although there is now a steady traffic sound from the larger roads nearby. It is an overgrown space. Clearly no vehicles have been this way in a while. The ground is damp with mud, and there are flows of water at several points, then a sign to say the road is closed, which they ignore. In a large pond eroded into the road itself, half a dozen or so frogs are loudly humping each other. It feels as though she has stepped outside of time. They do not talk as they go, keeping each other at a cautious distance. It amuses Tasha to note that nudity can seem highly unnatural. There is a quick, ungainly dash down a more heavily housed stretch of road and some fumbling under plant pots for a hidden key. Then they are safely inside his house. "Make yourself at home," he says. I'll be right back." She waits. He disappears upstairs and comes back quickly, dressed, and with an armful of clothes. Clothed, he seems unremarkable, someone she would not have given a second glance to. She accepts the shirt with gratitude and hurries into it. He is taller than her and broadly built, so the shirt renders her decent and puts them on a more even footing. She picks out shorts with a drawstring waist. They come to her knees, but will not argue with her curves. "Cup of tea?" he asks, because what else is there to do? Even so, she wants to resist it, this pull back into normality, smoothing over the memory of how the day began. Last time after the field, she just wanted to forget it all. This time she wants to hold on to the memory of it, to the enchanted feeling of being a wild and fairy creature, the feeling of being naked in the grass with this man, and the power of feeling his attention upon her. She does not want him to be ordinary now, pottering about in his kitchen in sensible attire. She does not want breakfast, or the intended cup of tea, and she does not know how to ask for something different. What to ask for, even. How long she stands in the doorway, staring and wrestling with feelings she cannot name, she does not know. He puts the teapot on the small table and turns her way. Makes eye contact again. There is so much she wants. There is a vast empty space inside of her that seems to have always been there, only until now she has not understood it as hollowness. There is something missing. When he looks at her, Tasha feels the hollowness to an almost unbearable degree, but at the same time, she has a sense of what it might be like not to be full of holes. It is not a large kitchen. It only takes a few steps to cross the floor. She is not sure which of them moves first, but then they are both moving, falling into each other, pulling tight. It feels like safety and belonging. It feels like washing finally to shore after a storm at sea. A single kiss, soft against her skin. She moves with compulsion then, kisses him, tentative at first, but falling fast into the growing power of it. This kiss is more than right. It is essential. As it is happening, she knows that she does not want this kiss to be other than it is. This is complete and not heading anywhere else. It is a strange feeling. She is by nature a sexual sort of creature who would not normally kiss like this without intending to follow through on it. This kiss is an absolute surrender of self. It is everything she has, everything she is. Afterwards, they drink tea together, not talking. It does not feel like trying to put things back to normal. What is done cannot be undone, and she feels like this is fate, like some kind of charm has been laid upon them and that they are bound to each other in ways that generally people are not. Her bone marrow sings of his presence. The spaces between her fingers are alive with the possibilities of touch. The tea is an infusion from a fairy tale. The light on the table has travelled lifetimes of space just to be here with them. Who either of them was before today seems largely irrelevant. Tasha feels giddy in her excess, preposterous in feeling these things, and happy with every cell in her body. Eventually, she will have to go home, find her keys, deal with the rest of her life. She holds this moment close. The tea, the light on the table, the way he smiles when she looks at him. She cannot imagine that there will ever again be such perfection in her life as this.